And this is the reason why you will observe increases in EBITDA levels generated by our distribution part.
Okay, Paweł Puchalski from BZWBK asks about progress in securing 2000 megawatts in wind.
I was afraid of this question because Paweł was asking me such questions when I was in another company which was dealing with renewable questions. Yeah, yes, we have definitely we have a problem with renewable projects. As said, in Poland, it is virtually impossible to go ahead with large-scale wind farm developments. We have made a decision, and this decision is currently in execution phase, to increase the current wind park, which is operating on the Bełchatów field, by roughly 2 times. And I expect to have it online in about 12 months' time. 12-15 months time. However, this is pretty insignificant with relate to 12 gigawatt of capacity. There are some other projects which we are considering. They are mainly biomass co-firing, and I think we will arrive at some positive decisions in this year with regard to the extension of our biomass co-firing solutions. As you might have observed, this is a trend which is notably present on the Polish market. Namely, one of our competitors announced lately that they are going to build one of the biggest power units in Europe, which will be entirely biomass fed. And I think that because of the nature of our power plants, we will be using this type of solution. If you look at the wind park industry as such, we do face a significant problem with realizing the 2000 megawatts which we were talking about 2 years ago. I would expect to have the maximum capacity of such units somewhere in the range of 200-300 megawatts, which could be built on our own assets. And in order to change the structure of the fuel mix of PGE, I guess the only solution would be to invest outside of Poland. And it is not impossible that we will arrive at such decisions.
Okay, and next question from Paweł. Will all employees' shares be allowed to trading at Warsaw Stock Exchange in 2010?
Yes, they will be arrived. However, I would say it is not very probable that those shares will come to the market still in 2010. We are talking about roughly 20,000 employees, and all of those employees need to get decision from Polish courts. Therefore, it is quite probable that once they are eligible to receive the shares, they would be able to physically trade them on the market somewhere in the middle of first quarter 2011. That would be an estimate to when the shares can come to the market because of how you say, court proceedings.
Yeah, but the question was all shares or not all shares? Of course, all shares on all converted shares. So first of all, employees need to convert their shares from distribution and generation assets into subholdings company, and they have time until August 13th. If they convert, their shares will be merged with shares of PGE Group, and after that, in the last phase, as Mr. Topolnicki said, they will be allowed to become, by the court, to become shareholders of PGE.
Our recent update is that in some segments, the amount of employees who actually made the decision to convert is very, very limited. We will observe the situation and we will give you feedback in the next quarter how it evolves.
What is our guidance for 2010 employment cost growth?
Well, the first quarter growth in the line item, if it is cleared out of the pollution caused by group 47, is 2.5%, and we could make an estimate that this few percent increase should be the guidance for the whole year.
I can strengthen these words. As probably you know, it is a public information that our trade unions asked us to pay 7% above inflation rate each year increase in salary, which is completely unacceptable and will not be accepted by the management in the whole group. So in few of our businesses, our negotiation with trade unions is finished. In all others, we are still under discussion, but our statement is clear.
Okay, now question from Teresa Schinwald of Raiffeisen. Could you please give some indications on when to expect regulators' decision on tariff G retail prices, or even a direction of those decisions?
That's not question to us. We said the best date had gone because beginning of this year and last year the difference between market price and G tariff was very close, close to 5 zloty. So no increase to final consumers. Currently it is much more difficult because the gap is more than 25 zloty and will be higher from quarter to quarter. So the decision will be much more tougher in next quarters. But we strongly push the regulator to liberalize the market according to the EU regulations, which is an obligation to our regulator.
The good news actually is that some companies who might be whom we are looking at in terms of acquisition, I'm talking especially about the Polish Energa Group, which is mainly client-driven business. If you do have a lot of clients where you don't make too much money because there are some regulatory requirements to sell energy cheaper than actually bought or acquired from the market, such assets would be comparably lower priced than other assets in Poland. Therefore, from an acquisition or investment point of view, this actually is a pretty good time to make the investment, because eventually the household price will be freed in Poland as well. So.
And following this statement, a question from Fred Barazzi of Goldman Sachs. Could you give an update on which markets or companies you might look in terms of potential acquisition?
Currently we are initially interested in Energa tender. We got a memorandum. Together with our advisors, we are working on this project. Currently, we don't know if we decide to bid end of May. We will decide just after a detailed and deep calculation of financial statements and current status of Energa. What else? As mentioned, we are it is put in our strategy. We are looking for potential synergies, so we are still analyzing neighboring markets, neighboring to Poland. In general, we are not interested in acquisitions far away from Poland. We are looking not only for cash driven by current results of such entities. We are looking for additional synergies like distribution and retail assets in neighboring countries, especially when we have huge surplus in generation, when we have a long position in generation.
Okay, have we bought any further minorities since the end of 29, and do we plan to buy out state treasury minorities?
We bought small minorities, few millions amounted few millions zloty in two CHPs, but currently it is put in our strategy that we want to have 100% shares in all our entities, second line management entities, but still we haven't decided until today if we about this minorities acquisition. It depends, of course, on the market conditions.
Okay, and last few questions from Paweł Puchalski again. What will be our CO2 intensity factor this year?
The intensity factor will not differ drastically from last year because there are no major projects which will come online in 2010. You will observe a decrease in following the COD of the Bełchatów unit number 13 in April 2011. That will be a major effect. But as for the blended emissions, they stay on the same level. We might tweak them a little bit up because we are trying to use the lower emitting assets and not the higher emitting assets. Here we have a very distinctive difference, for example, between the blended emission factor of a ZIDO plant and of a Pole power plant. And it is a significant difference of 10%, or close to 10%, because of mainly the reason is because of the age of the assets. Pole is one of the newest power plants in Poland versus ZIDO, just the opposite.
Okay, and final call for questions. And in the meantime, question from our good fellow anonymous guy from the internet. How far are we with atomic plant project?
We are online. Currently, we have three working groups. Our deadlines are unchanged. End of this year, we want to set up a final consortium and technology. Of course, it will be an initial choice because we need to get a lot of approvals. But we want to do it end of this year, as well as we want to point out the first site of first nuclear power plant in Poland. Final run of the first unit still unchanged, 2020.
And the very last question for today from Peter Prisalm of Avaron. Is the general guidance of multiplying Q1 results with 3 is applicable on a net profit or also on operating profit and EBITDA?
I was thinking about the EBITDA line. So
I would like to add up that if we sell non-core assets, it will improve our net profits, not net profit line, not EBITDA line. But as mentioned, it is included in our plan to sell both most valuable assets, non-core assets, Polkomtel and Exaltel stakes this year.
So despite not being in EBITDA, it still produces dividend.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for asking questions.
Thank you.
And see you after half year's results or earlier in individual contact. Thank you.